How's it going, guys? It's Mr. Fuzzy Lego, and today I'm here to showcase the minifigures that I have made for the release of Spider-Man Homecoming. And I am super excited to see this film, and I have a feeling that this will be the best Spider-Man film yet. But anyway, I have 5 minifigures here. You know, you really can't see the last one, but for this showcase I made Peter Parker himself, the Spider-Man suit, the Spider-Man homemade suit, the Vulture Adrian Toomas, and the Iron Man Mark 47. And I'm going to go ahead and stop rambling, and I'm going to show you these minifigures. Alright, so I'm going to go ahead and start off with Peter Parker, Tom Holland in Lego, and I really think this figure turned out pretty good. Now, if you ask me, I think that this is going to be the best Peter Parker that we've seen in a live-action film, and just because, well, he's just a big kid, and so I'm going to go ahead and show you what I've done for this figure. The design for his clothing actually went through 3 different phases. Originally, he was going to have his I Lost an Electron t-shirt, but then it proved to be that was too big of a challenge, so I decided to do something else. And then I was going to do this jacket here, or this blazer, I guess, I don't know what it's called, and then just paint a jacket onto it as well. But then that didn't work out, so I decided to just completely scrap those and just go with this design. As you see, it's just a dark blue sweater, with you can see some of the plaid coming down out from the bottom parts of the shirt, and it definitely looks pretty cool. You can see there's little wrinkles, little triangle there on the top too. And if you've been following me for a very long time, then you know that painting heads is not really my strong skill. So what this is a completely painted head. It was definitely kind of a challenge, to be honest, trying to capture the likeness to the character, but I think I pulled it off pretty nicely with the little eyebrows. They definitely give it the basically what they make the character. And I was going back and forth with a bunch of different hairstyles. Originally I was going to do a Mutt Williams hairpiece, but then kind of modify it. But then I changed it to an Emmett hairpiece because I thought that would be good. And then I went through a couple different phases before finally deciding on this Anakin Skywalker hairpiece, because from the back I think it just really looks like the hairpiece that Peter Parker will be sporting, the hairstyle that Peter Parker will be sporting in the movie, and I think that really worked out pretty well. So yeah, if you ask me, I really think that this figure turned out pretty nice and definitely a great addition to the Spider-Man Homecoming figures. And of course we have Peter Parker's new suit, the Spider-Man suit that Tony Stark gave to him that we saw in the bunch of the trailers. It's basically the same thing as the Civil War suit with a few modifications, and this is definitely an upgrade from my old one. If you can remember back in, like, I don't know when it was awful, and I'm very glad I redid it, and it turns out pretty great. I think I completely redid it. Actually, this is a brand new head and everything, so I'm going to go ahead and show you all the torsos and whatnot. So everything on this figure is completely hand painted by me, and what sucks is that I'm not the best when it comes to webbing, and so I had to completely web almost everything. Actually, yes, everything, because there was no almost, because there was nothing I could do, and I completely webbed everything. You can see the spider in the middle. There definitely looks pretty cool, and I gave them little web cartridges. I believe they're web cartridges, and they're just made out of electrical tape that I just kind of painted up with some. I was going to say dab it with paint, but I guess I can't say dab anymore, can I? And so that definitely worked out pretty well. I actually did paint on the inside of the arms, which I normally don't do because the arms kind of go out. I know I'm talking fast, I'm sorry. But one thing I did also is I paint little web shooters. I mean, they're not too great. I think it's only on this arm, actually. They're not too great because I don't really want to paint on the inside of the arm because the paint just scrapes off, so it's completely worthless. So that's the torso. And I see the head here was definitely a lot of fun, and that's sarcastic, because webbing is not fun, and I went from this and did my best to make it look as accurate as possible. When you're webbing, you don't really have to focus on trying to get accurate, because it really doesn't matter. You can be as random as you want, and it still looks consistent, and it still looks awesome. So I kind of had some fun with the tedious process of the webbing. You can see the eyes there. I painted with the little white lenses, and I probably could have done better, but I have no excuse. And you can see all the little black parts of the torso there, and well, not the torso, the legs, and you can see also on the torso as well. You can see all the little black little lines that I put on the minifigure just to make it look somewhat accurate to the actual costume that is in the movie, and so that's where all that design came from. And one other thing I did for Peter Parker, Spider-Man, is that even though I didn't finish them, I will give this, I did make web wings. I'm going to go ahead and show you these. So these web wings that I made pretty much at the beginning of the year, actually. I actually made these web wings in January, but I kind of completely neglected them because I was so swamped with work. I didn't really have any time to really work on them. But I'm still going to conclude them in the final product, so they definitely look pretty cool. From the shots we've seen in the trailer when he's like jumping off the Washington Monument, so that's really cool. But yeah, that's pretty much all I can say for this Spider-Man suit. I'm going to go ahead and move on to some of the other figures in this showcase. Now, if I'm honest, I think that the Spider-Man homemade suit is probably my favorite minifigure out of all of these minifigures that I made. Maybe despite the Vulture, but I just think the simplicity of this custom definitely makes it look super duper awesome. So the jacket here was just a simple red torso, but then I pretty much went from there. I used a hoodie piece, and I actually used something really cool for the little hoodie straps. If you actually tell, they're they're these little strings off of a Wii remote, so that's what I used the little parts on the hoodie for, and then I just painted them up and glued them on. You can see the pockets of the torso, and then you can see, oh man, he fell over, and you can see the actual, oh no, don't come up please. And then you can see the spider emblem painted in the back. If I can get the minifigure to actually stand back up. There you go, you can kind of see the spider painted in there. And the entire thing is actually a custom blue color, and that definitely looks pretty cool. I actually mixed a couple different denim colors, and that was fun. And you can see the little arm bracelets thing, or the brackets, I don't know what they're called, just these things on the arms I just painted up with some more pieces of electrical tape, and then I just painted them to make them look similar to the ones shown in the reference pictures, and you can see the rest of the hoodie there. And the head definitely looks nice. I originally was going to use like battle droid joints to make those little lens pieces, but then that didn't work because they turned out too big. So I just ended up sculpting them, and they definitely look pretty cool. I maybe could have done better on the white parts, but they definitely look cool. And there's also a red seam that goes from the front all the way to the back to represent where the hoodie like kind of is sewn, I guess. I don't really know. And then the shoes have their own little cool design with the little the boots and then the rim wrapping all the way around. Which definitely looks, or at least to 3 sides, I don't know what I'm saying. So it definitely looks cool. And then there's also, if it would, yeah, sorry for the little cut there, the camera went out of focus, but you can see the boots had the little rings around them, and I'm super happy with this figure, and I can't wait to see him get smashed around school bus yards, and to see him, let's see this costume in action. And here is Tony Stark's new suit, the Iron Man Mark 47. And if you ask me, these Iron Man suits are a total pain in the butt to make, because what ends up happening is you stare at references and you stare at pictures for literally hours and hours, and you're basically eliminating what you can put on the armor and what you can't. And that's basically what I did on this custom. And the chest, but I used something else. I used a football, I believe, armor, and I just kind of modified it to make it look better, and definitely suits the job. Like you can see most of the silver that I made on here, but then it's also like you can see some red outlines or red highlights on the armor piece itself. And if you turn around, you can see the arms, which definitely look pretty cool with all the gold little like lines running through them. And they have all these lights. You have 1, 2, 3, 4, and then there's 5 and 6 hidden behind the armor pieces there. You can see the arms are the exact same side on that one, and then the back definitely looks pretty cool also. And if I zoom back out here and get started on showing the head, you can see that I completely ran over my old one, and I put gold on this and made it look as best as I could, and then I went back and I actually outlined the whole thing all over again. You can see the little gray parts there on the helmet. I just got a text. Yeah, sorry about that, but obviously what I was going to say is I was going to, if you, I actually went on the eyes with these white bits, and they definitely look pretty cool. And actually, if you flip open the mask, you see that I do have Tony Stark inside there with his neck painted to make it look pretty sweet. I'm definitely happy with the way that looks. And it's just really a small detail. No one really even cares about that. But there is Tony Stark in this mask. I do have to say that the little chrome and the red, dark red bits of the boots definitely look really cool together, and I actually did a bunch of outlining or highlighting in dark gray, so you can see, like, if you go to the back, you can see there's more dark outlining, or I keep saying outlining, it's highlighting. And if I remove the, or at least don't remove, but if I just kind of bend them up, you can see there is some gold in there, which definitely looks, and I can proudly say that I'm very happy with the way this custom turned out, and I cannot wait to see him in an actual Spider-Man film, and it's going to be super awesome. And here it is, everyone. The last minifigure of this showcase, the villain himself, the Vulture, complete with these super duper awesome wings, and I'm super happy with the way this turned out. This was a complete custom figure, and I'm definitely really satisfied with the way it came out. And the helmet was probably one of the best, or the most fun I've had making this figure. And basically what it was, it started off as a A-Wing fighter helmet piece from Star Wars, and I basically covered the inside of it with clay, and I molded on different goggle pieces and made it look, oh goodness, don't do that. And it made it look super cool, and I outlined most of it, and I sculpted on the front of the nose piece and added the little tubing, which I don't know if it's supposed to be there. I was looking at several references where some were there and some it wasn't, but I basically went with this, and I sculpted on the top a little ring, a little fin kind of there at the very top to make it look more accurate to the pictures that I was following. And you can see his little green eyes look very, very creepy. And here's the jacket, which also looks pretty cool, but I do have to say that this stupid fur coat was completely hideous to make because it would always snap off as soon as I would try to put the helmet on and trying to get the neck brace off of it, because that's what's holding the wings on actually. But it would just keep snapping and snapping, and I would hate fixing it and hate making them every single time. But they definitely worked out in the end. He has little green bits there in the pockets, and I painted on some lines also. And then you see the belts here, they're actually in gray. They started off as gold, but then I changed it because of references, and that was fun. And I see they basically tried to do the buckles as best as I could. And you can see on the arms there's like electrical tape cuffs, and you can see there's like pockets or side pockets. I don't know if they're pouches or pads or whatever, and he has just standard black hands. And the legs were also very fun to make. They're actually in a matte black, which definitely looks better than the gloss black. And I basically painted some silver on it, and these little lines actually do represent a little, what are they called? I don't even know what they're called. I'm just going to forget that. And you can see those little green, not green, yellow little rings there on the sides of the things. And if you go to the back, you can see more of the gray that goes all the way around on it. And you can see on the top, you can see some dark gray little pockets and some pieces, and then the belt that goes all the way around. Also, I would take off the wings to show you, but they do not come off, and they're a pain to make. And now we can finally start talking about these wings. And what these wings started out were, they were actually started off as Amiibo box plastic. That's what I used for the base, and then they ended up ripping in the middle, and so I had to glue them back or tape them back, and they're very, very flimsy, and they're very terrible. But I cut out the insides of the little circles, and I put some bicycle wheels, or I think they were motorcycle Lego wheels, and then I basically sculpted around and make them look a bit more encased and not look terrible. And I see all the outlining, all the different lines was all a pain in the butt, and it doesn't look as good as I can, oh gosh, it doesn't look as good as I can possibly make it, but I'm sure I can do better. But just doing that much paint work is probably the most outlining and the most thin lines I've made on any custom minifigures so far this year, and it definitely looks cool in the end, and it will not fit on any shelf because its wings are so ginormous. I am going to show you the back, even though I hate it. You can see the wheels there and some more little pouches. I didn't really do too much on the back because I didn't care, and you can see the Amiibo box coming down. It's actually very, very flimsy, you couldn't tell. Oh yeah, there's the back of the helmet, because I didn't show you that, so LOLs, I guess. So that's pretty much it for all these Spider-Man Homecoming figures, and I'm going to go ahead and wrap up this video. Alright, this is the end of the video. I seriously hope you've enjoyed these minifigures that I've spent at least a month and a half working on, and I cannot wait to go see this film later, and I just hope you have a great time also, and I will see you all later.